Peace and blessings, family. This is Brother Sharif with the Hour of Power. We have a very special guest this week. We'll open up with our universal prayer, then we'll get right into this much anticipated interview with our brother here. In the name of God, the gracious, the merciful, we give him praise and thanks for his mercy and his goodness to the human family. If all the trees upon the earth were pens to write with, and if all the oceans were ink, and then another 7 oceans to add to its supply, the writing would still not be enough to explain the glory of God, for he's the gracious, the merciful. And even if I lived to be 1,000, it would still not be enough to thank God for his many blessings and gifts. We confide in no other in our time of need, and we praise no other in our good fortune. He is one. Uh, uh, we thank God for the Metu Netter, oracles, scriptures, and writings that came on the continent of Africa thousands of years before any organized religion. We thank God for Moses in the Torah, Jesus in the Gospel, and Muhammad with the Quran. I greet everyone in words of peace. To my Christian family, praise the Lord. To my Muslim family, assalamu alaikum. To my Hebrew Israelite and my Jewish family, shalom. To my black conscious family, hotep. To my people in the streets, what's good to you? It all means peace. So here we are with another edition of the Hour of Power. We have a very special guest this week. Can you introduce yourself, young brother?
Yup, my name is Ben Natal. I play for the Central York basketball team, and I'm currently a senior.
Great, great. Shout out to your father, Ben Natal Sr., for making this interview possible. I reached out to him because of you may have not have seen me, but I'm a huge basketball fan. I went to York High, but I had a lot of respect for Central York, basketball team, especially with the things that they have accomplished, and which we're gonna talk about. So tell us, how did you get involved with basketball?
Mm-hmm. So I think I started playing basketball, organized basketball around second grade. My parents first signed me up for like YMCA stuff, um, and I mean it wasn't as serious as when you get older. YMCA is just kind of like finding things that you like. Um, I played baseball before I played basketball. It was like really my first sport. Um, Played that for about a year, I'd say. YMCA also. Um,
Now, is this in York or?
yeah, we're well actually before I moved to Central, I played at Dover.
Oh, okay.
So me and my family used to live in the Dover area. So I played baseball and basketball for them in my younger years. But yeah, I mean, after I decided to stop playing baseball, I picked up a basketball. My dad played in high school. My uncle played for York High.
Who was your uncle, if you don't mind?
Waldo Figueroa.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I want to. Me and him graduated together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool.
yeah. He was on the if you don't mind me, he was on the '92 basketball team, and that's widely considered the best
One of the best
team
York High
that
teams.
York High has ever had. But yeah, we graduated together. Me and
Yeah.
Waldo.
Yeah. So I mean, just having people like that in my family that played basketball, that gave me the opportunity to play, and have just show more interest in it.
Did you watch him play? Do you remember?
I didn't get to. I didn't
Uh,
get to watch him play. My
oh,
grandma has newspapers and like articles and stuff when he played. So I got to see that, but no live action footage.
okay, okay. Bet you come from a great line there. So your first love was baseball, but then you eventually got into basketball.
Yeah, I was kind of I was young. I'm just trying sports. But eventually, like I said, I mean, family plays basketball. It felt right to
Right.
you know having people like
Yeah,
that.
you had it in your blood with your dad, and then Your Uncle Waldo.
Yeah,
Is that your dad's brother or your mom's
my
brother?
mom's, my mom's
That's
brother.
your mom's brother. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mom is here in the audience, so salute to her. She's the one that birthed this young man, so always got to give praise to mom. You know.
Yeah,
So you said around second grade you started getting into.
yeah. Around second
Mm,
grade, that's when we actually started playing for the Dover. For that was like
mm,
school basketball. So
mm,
from then up to eighth grade, Dover. Like I played for Dover.
mm,
I thought that was where I was gonna play my high school. But then yeah, ninth grade, my family moved to Central York.
mm,
Um, and Central York's not too far from Dover, so like, I mean, I knew a lot of the kids just from playing at the park and stuff. Like I knew a lot of the Central kids already. So I mean, moving to a new school, it wasn't really a crazy change. But I got to Central, ninth grade year, had open gyms and stuff. I didn't really know Coach Hoke or any of the assistants. So I got to
they were already there when you
right.
started going
And
there.
Hoke was relatively new. He came from Bishop McDevitt coaching. So he's kind of new to the Central program as well as the head coach.
He came from Bishop McDevitt.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
yeah,
That's a lot of history there.
yeah. They were pretty good. He tells us stories and stuff all the time. And I was fortunate enough to make varsity that year, my freshman year.
Wow.
So I've been on varsity all 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
My first ever varsity game as a freshman, coach started me,
Mm-hmm.
and we were playing. Um, I'm not sure what the team name is, but they were the defending state champions. Um, so my first
A team
game,
from Harrisburg, maybe. Is there?
I think they're from around that area.
Mm-hmm.
They were the Vikings. I'm not sure what the school name was called though, but
Mm-hmm.
they were pretty good. Defending state champs, so they
Mm-hmm.
had a lot of guys coming back, older. But that was my first ever high school game,
Wow.
varsity game.
That's a lot of pressure for you just to be a freshman
Right.
and you play a team like that.
Mm-hmm.
I have to look that up and see who that was at that time. Let's see, we're in 2025. Was that around
It was a
2020,
20,
21?
yeah, 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, they were
Was
pretty
there any
good.
restrictions that you remember? Because that was a little bit after COVID.
Yeah, my
Mm-hmm.
eighth grade year when I was at Dover before we moved to Central, we had to play with the mask on and all that.
Wow. Wow. How was that? I know that
It
had to have
was
been awkward.
yeah, yeah, it was,
Mm-hmm.
and just like breathing, like your face
Right.
gets all hot.
Yeah, I know that had to have been uncomfortable. That was a rough time, but
Yeah,
you guys got through it. Then that was your
yeah,
eighth grade year.
and then
And you said you was playing at Dover.
yeah,
Okay.
Dover.
Mm-hmm.
Once we got to my freshman year, and from then on, I mean, everything was pretty calmed down, back to normal then.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that that game, my first game versus the defending state champs. I did really good. I had 13 points,
Wow.
um, 3 3-pointers, 2 layups. Um, but the game, I mean, it was fast. Like I wasn't used to that. It's
Mm-hmm.
like my first game, still young. Um,
I was getting ready to ask you what did you how did you adjust from going from what would that be called, like junior high
yeah,
to straight to high school, and then you were playing on with the big boys from the
right.
from the beginning, varsity basketball. Now, did you know from eighth grade going to ninth grade that you were going to be playing varsity? When was that decision made, and how did you make that adjustment? 'Cause
Yeah,
that's a big jump.
it is, and
Mm-hmm.
especially going from Dover to Central.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, Central's has a little bit of a better basketball team, so just
Mm-hmm.
the level that you have to jump and play at is a little bit higher. So
Mm-hmm.
in tryouts, um, I mean, coming in as a freshman, like the dream is to play varsity and all that. So it was, nerve wracking a little bit to play with the older guys.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it was like a faster paced game.
Right.
More
Now, did
physical.
you know when you got to Central High School that you would be playing varsity? Like, when was that decision made?
Yeah, so tryouts. I had no clue until the final day of tryouts, just like a normal kid.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and coach, they pulled me to no, they had a line
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the last tryout, and kids go out one by one and look at their name on the list.
Mm-hmm.
So I went out there, and my name was on the list for varsity,
Mm-hmm.
only freshman on varsity.
You was the
And
only one.
yeah, and the
Wow.
thing at Central was they don't usually put freshmen on varsity. Coach usually goes with the older guys.
Mm-hmm. That's
So
just his style.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and so I mean, seeing my name on there, it was exciting, and I was relieved.
Mm-hmm. Now, was that your goal um, when you left, eighth grade at Dover, and you made the decision to go to Central? Was that your goal to jump to that level, or like I'm trying to figure out when was that? What did you and your dad think? Going there, was that your goal?
Yeah,
You felt like you could make that jump?
yeah, I definitely
Okay.
think that was had to work hard for it.
Mm-hmm.
But that was definitely the goal to play varsity basketball, play at
Mm-hmm.
the highest level in high school.
Wow, wow, that's a high expectation for yourself.
Right.
You felt like you could do it.
Hmm.
Okay, and they probably had scouted you a little bit and
Yeah.
probably seen what was going on. Like, hey, this young man can do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
coach.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the assistants, kind of knew, like they got the word that this kid from Dover was coming, pretty
Yeah,
good.
that's what I was thinking.
So they knew about me a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but I think what also helped was that I also knew some of the Central kids, some of the older kids, by just
Mm-hmm.
being at the park, and like AAU, playing with
Oh,
them at AAU.
how does that work? Educate me on that. You. I have
Hmm.
a friend and his son is playing in it, and I asked him. I wanted to go to the games. I've never, I've always went to high school games, but I never knew. I've heard of it, but I never knew the real science of how that works. How
Right.
did that work with you? So you went there before you went to high school, right?
Yeah. So we
So
have
they probably scouted you a lot there to
mhm.
pick on
In the
you.
winter,
Mm-hmm.
that's just high school stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But in the summer, that's when AAU starts up. Usually spring in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and basically that's just they grab some of the best kids in the area, or they
Mm-hmm.
can. I mean, they can go. It depends what team you play on, but they can
Mm-hmm.
basically make any team they want with any kids. Like they can recruit kids,
Mm-hmm.
um, and they just make a team like that, and go out and play in tournaments, like travel, play
Mm-hmm.
against other teams. It's all
Mm-hmm.
organized and
Statewide.
yeah. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's just teams from all around the country, especially when you
Mm-hmm.
play at like on like higher level circuits,
Mm-hmm.
like Nike, Adidas, Under Armour all have
That's who
teams that
sponsors
they
it.
sponsor,
Oh, okay.
and those are like the top teams. Like
Mm-hmm.
in Nike, Kevin Durant has his own team
Mm-hmm.
that he works with, and that's where like the some of the top kids in the country go and play at.
Mm. Okay. So, um, Central definitely had a lot of time to scout you. I see how it all played out now,
Yeah.
especially with the AAU, and then they probably was checking you out in eighth grade,
Right.
too. So they had plenty time to scout and see what's going on. So they made a good decision. Yeah, they had plenty time to make good decision to move you up, because that's a big move. Like I said, we already talked about to go from eighth grade, ninth grade, and straight to varsity. So how did um tell me about some of the other players that were like your teammates on the AAU.
Mhm.
Was it players you seen before, or they was kind of new to you too?
Yeah, I played on a local team, so they kind of just grab kids from this York area.
Mm-hmm.
So Central kids, kids from Suburban, Red Lion,
Mm-hmm.
um, and that's where I kind of met some of these kids from other schools.
Mm-hmm.
When I was at Dover, I think I started playing with this York team, like 15U, called the York Ballers.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
so that's where I met a lot of the guys I know now. Um, a lot of the Central guys played on that team.
Mm.
Um, and I'm like just playing with them and then going from that AAU to school ball. It's just more comfortable because I already know them. So
Mm.
it's easier to perform and playing like tough crowds and big games.
Okay. To your knowledge, did were there other local players that also advanced to the 12th grade around here that it was with the AAU?
Yeah, a lot of
Mm.
the kids around here play AAU. Um, there to get you can do in AAUs like live periods. So
Mm.
some of the tournaments that you go to are actually like coaches can come and watch you and
Mm.
recruit you.
Mm.
So I mean it's a popular thing. Like coaches, I mean like a kid's dream is to go D1, like playing college. Everyone wants scholarships.
Mm.
So in playing AAU, you get the opportunity at live periods and just playing competition that you don't usually see, like kids from different states
Mm.
that you don't know. It's
Mm.
good like just to see different competition.
Right. Um, were there other schools trying to get you to go to their school other than Central?
Um, Not in high school, but AAU,
Mm.
yes, cause like
Mm.
they can recruit whatever like whoever they want.
Mm.
So there were some AAU teams that wanted me to come and play with them.
Mm. To their
Um,
high school or just to the
just to the
AAU?
AAU, yeah,
Oh, okay.
for just for that exposure and
Mm-hmm.
just to play on their team and represent them.
Mm-hmm. How'd you make out in that setting?
Yeah, it was nice to see that some teams are reaching out and wanted me to play for them.
Mm-hmm.
But I stayed loyal to the York Ballers, the
Mm-hmm.
kids from this
I
area
remember hearing that name. Mm-hmm.
that I'm gonna play with during school, and they were my friends at that point. So
Mm-hmm.
it was be tough to leave them and go play for a different team.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people would say shoulda, coulda, woulda, but
Hmm.
did York High have any interest? Because York High and Central, location wise, is so close.
Right.
No one from York High reached out for you to go to York High. That would have been something.
No, no, not to my knowledge, no.
Oh, okay. So you were strictly recruited by Central to
Yeah,
go
me and
there.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
okay. All right. So you started out in ninth grade with Central. How did things go, and how was you know the everything going at that time?
Yeah, it was
Mm-hmm.
cool. The practices after each practice, I mean, we got better.
Mm-hmm.
I got better acquainted with the team. Like I made more friends. Like
Mm-hmm.
just build stronger relationships as the season went on.
Mm-hmm.
My freshman year at Central, we didn't do the best. We didn't make it to the county playoffs. I think. But after that, my sophomore through senior year, we've been successful.
Yeah,
Um,
county championship.
yeah, been
Yeah,
consistent.
yes, yes. Given York High fits, like I said, that's where I went. That's where
Mm.
your, uncle went. I was like, man, who is this guy? He's giving us fits, man. Yeah. Well, who? Now, was anyone else? I mean, your team is so popularly known now. Was anyone else moved up, to the varsity level around your time because you guys gelled so well,
Mm.
you know.
Um, Ben Real, our big man,
Mm-hmm.
he was supposed to play at Central his freshman year, but he had left to a prep school. I'm sure he would have been moved up to varsity as well, as
Oh,
a
so he
freshman.
started out at a prep school.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
his high school career started at a
Mm-hmm.
prep school.
You guys are the same age, right?
Yeah, about
Okay.
the same age.
Uh
Yeah.
huh. Okay. Yeah.
and that's one of the guys I played AAU with. So we play together like year round.
Right.
So we know each other
So
really
you know
well.
each other, yeah, to make the team the way that it was. Um, so that was last year that you won the state championship. Tell us
Right.
about that year. I mean that was like historic because no one around here um, had won the state championship. The closest was your uncle's year.
York High.
That's a year I came out. They got to the state championship game, and I think they lost to Harrisburg.
Mm.
So tell us about that year. Like, what was the toughest team that you had came across? From the county all the way up through
Yeah.
that historic year.
So I think the thing with that team was we had so much talent and
Mhm.
so much guys, like a lot of depth on the team.
Mhm.
But we played together, and
Yes.
nobody had their own agenda. Nobody was selfish, wanted
Mhm.
to do their own thing, score 30
Mhm.
points. Everybody just played to win, and
Mhm.
I think that's why we were so successful. The
Mhm.
toughest team that we played as we got into the state playoffs. Um, I mean, the teams got tougher and tougher.
Of course.
But I think we lost. We had some losses that year, and it was to teams that we shouldn't have lost to.
I
Um,
think Redline.
yeah, we lost the Red Line in the
Mhm.
district tournament.
What you think was going on with that
Yeah,
game? You think you overlooked them, or was they really that good?
definitely. I think we definitely they were pretty
So one,
good.
one thing before you get started, excuse me. If anyone wants to call in and have any questions or comments for this young brother here, 717-846-5067. He's doing a great job doing this interview. It isn't easy for a young man like him to come on here. I told his father that he's very brave for agreeing, to this. So if anyone wants to call in, 717-846-5067. All right, continue what you was.
Yeah, so Red Line, they're a good team.
Mhm.
That was probably the third time we played them just that season.
Mhm.
So I mean, they already had seen our plays. They know how each of us play. They know what we like to do.
Mhm.
So it was tough to beat them, regardless. But they played a really good game, and I think that we did overlook them a little bit.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and I think that
Because you guys didn't have the one or two losses
yeah,
that season,
and I
right?
think those losses came from the same thing. Like we thought we were gonna come in and just beat the team, but they I mean, being one of the best teams, like a good team like that, people give you their best shot,
Mhm.
um, and they play their hardest. So we kind of looked past that, and they
Mhm.
shocked us a little bit.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, it was shocking.
yeah,
Mhm.
in that district tournament, we were actually the number one. Like we were the favorites to win. So
Mhm.
that would have also been the school's first district championship as well as the
Mhm.
state.
Mhm.
Um, but I think that losing that game was a key to our state run
Mhm.
because that kind of it set us back a little bit, but we realized that we can't play like we can't overlook teams like this. It just helped us like lock in a little bit more focus.
That's great. Okay. So, moving along, you said obviously each game got tougher and tougher.
Right.
What was the toughest team that you guys played in that um, district and state run?
Mm, yeah, we played Garnet Valley was the first round.
Mm-hmm.
The first round was kind of nerve wracking. It's the first game.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Where were they from?
I think they're from Philadelphia area.
Oh yeah,
I think so.
anyone from that area is gonna be tough.
Yeah, they we scouted them a little bit. They had some pretty good guys on their team. But we did our thing out there. Beat them by like 10, I think. So pretty good game. Then the second game was against Red Line again.
Oh, I forgot you guys played them in second. So y'all were ready for 'em. What adjustments did y'all make that second time
from the first time.
Yeah, I think the adjustments we made wasn't really basketball related, but just in our heads and as a team,
Mm-hmm.
that loss in the district playoffs kind of set something off, I guess, and
Mm-hmm.
just mentally, like we didn't want to lose that game, and we were gonna play hard to get that win.
Right.
So I we played them at Dallastown. It was a packed game because like two York County teams in the state playoffs,
Mm-hmm.
and also they had just beat us.
Right.
Um, but yeah, we came out. I think we blew them out, or we beat them by a good amount.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
So
it was definitely different.
yeah, and that was just the mentality that we had. Like we
Mm-hmm.
weren't gonna lose to these guys again.
Right.
The third game was against Upper St. Clair, I believe,
Yes, I remember.
out of
that.
Pittsburgh.
Mhm.
They had
They've
this,
been there before.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, good team, good guards, and they had this like two 7-foot brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So some height as well.
Mm-hmm.
But at that point, I mean, we were rolling. Like we won that game, and
You said 7 foot.
yeah,
Wow, two of them.
2-7, and they're
Wow.
they're brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, we were rolling at that point. And it wasn't, the games weren't like you didn't get nervous before a game anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And we just felt good like playing together
Was
as a
that
team.
game at Hershey?
That game was
No, you said Dallastown.
yeah, the Red Line game.
No, the
was
Red
second
Line game
round,
was at
and then we
Dallastown.
played at Altoona
Mm-hmm.
versus Upper St. Clair.
Mm-hmm. That's also a Pittsburgh team.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And then our game to get into the championship was Reading.
Mm-hmm.
Tough team. We played
Very
them.
tough team.
They were the first game. They were our first game of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So this was our second time that we had been playing them that
So
season.
you had a chance to get a good look at them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we played them our first game. I think the first half we were struggling a little bit, had a slow start,
Mm-hmm.
but going into the second half we got together and we won by a pretty good amount too, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they were the defending state. I think they won the state championship the year before us.
Yeah.
So that was an anticipated high energy game playing against the defending state champs.
Mm-hmm.
But
Are you guys nervous? Or?
Yeah, a little bit. I know
Nervous.
I say I was nervous. Just the first game,
Mm-hmm.
all the energy in the arena.
Mm-hmm.
But that also, I mean, that win gave us a confidence boost. Like we just beat one of the top teams. That's probably one of the top teams in the area.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing them in the state playoffs, I mean, they were a different team from the beginning of the year. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely different energy in that game. Got to come in with a different mindset. Like, it was I think the game was close for the first half, but then again the second half we started pulling away and we won that game by about 10.
Mm-hmm. Quick question for you. When your route to through the districts, the state championship year, played York High again?
This year?
No, last year this state championship year. Did you go through York High? Because I know that's always a high energy, game. Even during the regular season, because
Right.
you play one at your court and one at
At
York
theirs.
High's court. Just backing up a little bit. That's like the elephant in the room. How did you guys prepare about for those games?
Mm.
Did you
Yeah.
know a lot of the players there? I think you guys knew each other a lot.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things. Like we, everybody in the area kind of knows each other already.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of know what to expect, but still, still got to come out and like do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we scouted them a little bit. We kind of knew who their guys were.
Right.
We had a long week of practice. going up to those games. Our first game was at York High this past year, my senior year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so before that, we had a long week of practice, um, prioritizing like what we're gonna do
Mm-hmm.
during the game, like adding in defenses and plays and stuff. And then when we get into the game, it's just about executing.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It seems like your coach had you well prepared.
yeah,
You
especially like you said, like York High and Central York is kind of like a rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, everybody, coach knows that too. So he expects us to come out with the same energy that they're gonna bring.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and just play our hardest.
Mm-hmm. Now the first game, um, the young man, I think his name was Nasir.
Nasir Barnes.
Yeah, yeah. What was the difference? What difference did he make from the first to the second game? Even though you guys were victorious both times.
Yeah, he's a scorer. Um, one of York High's main guys. So I mean, we knew that coming in that he was gonna score. He was gonna have the ball the majority of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So we tried to contain him as much as possible. York High has some other guys that can score as well. So just a well-rounded team. Um, so we not only had to try our best to stop Nasir Barnes, but the other guys can score too. So you kind of just have to just play basketball. Um, nothing, no defense really. Like no specific defense that's gonna stop them. You just have to, come out and just play with effort.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. And advancing, we're still on talking about the state championship year. So you beat St. Clair, they was called, and Altoona. I've heard of both of them teams, and like you said, I think Altoona was a defending state champion from one of the years before. I don't know if it was 1 year or 2 years before you guys won it, but they're always in the running, you know. So what team? So beating Altoona was the game before the state championship. That
So
was
we
at the
played
district championship.
Upper St. Clair was the third round, and then Reading was the.
Oh, Reading.
We played Reading.
Reading is always tough.
Yeah.
Always.
They play hard. I'd say that was one of our tougher games, playing them because they just come at you nonstop. Like they don't get tired. So that was tough. That game I think I was cramping some, so I didn't play like towards the end. But Ben Rue and Greg, they were top scorers that game. They had a great game, so that helped us to the win. And then after that, we played Parkland in the state championship at Hershey. That game was just. I mean, we made it this far, and we made it this far not to lose. So and that was the mindset coming in. Like we made
How
it
did
this
you
far.
guys prepare for them? Like, what was the main thing or main concern, player wise, with them? How do you prepare for them?
Yeah, this was our first time playing Parkland. So it's not like any of the York County teams that we knew what guys they had and how they play. So it was kind of new. And we watched some film. Coaches had scouting reports that told us a little bit about who their guys were and what we had to do to win. But really just coming in to the game, kind of just had to feel it out and see what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, that was a great game.
They had their point guard was Division I commit to Davidson College.
Davidson, is that the same school Steph Curry went to? Wow.
He's there now. He's good. He had like 2,000 points for Parkland.
Wow.
One of their main guys can shoot really well. That game we were up the majority of the game. I think we were up the whole game. And then the fourth quarter, they had took the lead with like a minute or two left.
That's a nerve wracking.
Yeah, it was. But RB hit some big shots. just there was just big plays made, and then we ended up winning that game. Like important free throws missed. Um, Greg had a block at the end of the game. They tried to shoot a game winning shot, and Greg blocked it. So it was just a lot of big moments that happened at the last couple seconds, and I'm just glad to win.
Right. Right. How would you surmise this season?
Mm. Yeah, this season, as the defending state champs, we had big expectations. I think our team was just as good as last year's team. Missing Greg, but most of the guys came back, so just having the experience of the state championship run, that's big.
I was very impressed by the schedule you guys had. I mean,
Right.
from the door, y'all were playing some very powerhouse teams. Is that the way your coach designed it? Is that the way you guys wanted it?
Yeah. He the thing behind that was he scheduled these tough teams early in the season, not only to get us rolling into our season, get us playing with each other, but when it got time for the state playoffs and we see like these Philadelphia teams, these tough teams, that we be ready for them.
Right, right. That's what y'all did. Y'all did not dodge nobody. You know, you already had your schedule, around here. And was anyone around here that got any better, that gave you any trouble? I don't really remember that.
Yeah, some of the team, most of the team had some of the same guys, minus all the seniors that graduated, but most of the team had the same guys, so it was kind of the same.
They got a little better, more experience.
Yeah, a lot of just guys getting older, but I mean we won the county, and I just think that's just how good we were. We had a whole bunch of good like talent on our team. Still had a whole bunch.
That was
of
what, like your third county championship in a row, right?
Yeah.
Wow,
My
that's
sophomore, junior, and senior year, won counties. And then this past year, so last year we lost to Redline in the district tournament.
Right.
But this year we actually made it to the championship and beat Central Dauphin in district.
Right.
So
Yeah, I remember that.
we won our school's first district championship as well.
So you made up from the one that you lost
Last year.
the state championship year. Right. Yeah, that's impressive. So you got the county and the district. Right.
It would have been nice last year to win the county, the district, and the state all in one year.
Yeah, that would have been a powerhouse connection, but it is what it is. Can't win everything, as they say.
Right.
Who's the best player that you've ever come across, in your opinion, one-on-one?
One of the best players I ever played was probably in AAU. Like you travel and play teams from different areas, so we play some of the top teams in the area, or not even just the area, like the country. So like the York Ballers, like we travel, we play Team Durant, Team Carmelo Anthony's team, and some of the best kids I've ever played on play on teams like that. And they're one of the top names like in the country, like ranked on like ESPN and all these ranking websites. We played Team Durant last summer. I was with the York Ballers, and they had this kid. He's committed to Michigan State now. Their point guard was committed to Kentucky. So
Yes, it's Team Durant.
Yeah. So just top kids like that, top talent.
So was there one? Those are the ones you remember the most. The ones you just said
Those are probably
committed to Michigan State.
Better kids I played against. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. So moving back here to York, you said you got the district, you got the county, and you were moving up through the districts. I know y'all ran into some tough competition there.
Yeah, we Central Dauphin was probably our toughest game. They have this guard Wayne Fletcher. He also played. I also played AAU with him for the York Ballers. Um, Good guard. I think he had about like 20. He had like 20 something points on us. He was playing good. He had a good game. That was our goal. Was our going into that game was to try and contain him as much as possible. Yeah. But I mean, he had a good game. But I think just the big plays at the end made by us. We had a run. We went on a run towards the end, which gave us a bigger lead. So I think that's how we won that game. Just started to focus and lock up at the end.
Yeah, they had mentioned a rule. I don't know if you had already mentioned him, Division One player for Chambersburg.
Yeah.
Did you already mention him?
No, that was we played him in districts too.
He was pretty tough, but you guys contained him.
Yeah, J.J. Kelly.
Oh, absolutely.
He's I think he's committed to Ohio University.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Because y'all played them at your court, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember him.
He is one of the guys that was on our scouting list that we have to try and slow down.
Definitely.
One of the better players. So.
Okay. Yeah. So moving through, I guess your toughest game was Roman Catholic team.
Yeah, probably.
That's who eliminated you.
Yeah, they had a whole bunch of. They just played together as a team, but had a lot of talent at every spot as well. Kind of like us last year. They had one kid they has offers from like Villanova, schools like that. Like one of the top kids.
That Roman Catholic team, was that out of Philly there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, I mean, y'all stay true to your cause. You played the toughest teams,
Right.
you know, and just ran up against someone that was. What would you say was so tough with them? 'Cause I watched that game. I felt kind of bad. That was a tough. That was a rough game.
Yeah, I think just going into that game, I just think we weren't not prepared, but we I think they wanted it more than us. They came out playing harder than us. And then I think towards the end, once they started to take the lead a little bit more. It kind of just got to the realization that we weren't gonna come back, and like that was our last game, as a seniors, that was our last game too. So
that's kind of tough.
It was tough a little bit.
Yeah, because you guys weren't too far away from being on the road to repeat.
Yeah, and
that would have been something.
That was the goal, yeah.
But still, to win that state championship for York County was big, because, like I said, no one else around here had done anything like that, except my year with your uncle. That was the closest anyone had got to that level. So I was very proud, even though I was rooting for York High. But I was very proud. I was rooting for you guys to do that, and that's what you did, to bring that state championship back, to York, and to represent York County like that. That was heavy. And a lot of people from York High were proud of you guys.
Yeah, it was cool to see that other schools and people are supporting us. Everybody from York was supporting us throughout that run. So.
Yeah, it had billboards all around.
Yeah.
And how did that feel?
It was a crazy feeling. Like my dad sent the pictures of me. He was driving, I guess, with my mom, and on the billboard it had our pictures, said state champs and all that.
Right. So where's everything at now? I know I was asking you earlier about the prep school, and a couple people weren't real clear on how that works. Someone had thought that a couple people had thought that you would return to Central, you know, for another year. I was like, oh, you're high, be in big trouble if that happens, man. So
Yeah.
can you make that clear how that's working out for you?
Yeah, so I finished my senior year at Central, still gonna graduate at Central and all that. But I'm gonna do a post grad year at the Hill School. It's in Pottstown, in,
That's
like
outside
close
of
to Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Yeah. Um, so that's what I'm planning to do this next year. I'm gonna be playing with them. Um, it's kind of gonna be like a senior year again. Um, like still gonna be taking classes, playing basketball with their team. But they just play at the competition, much higher competition. Um, it's kind of like they run like a college, like they have
So
like
you
a
be staying on campus?
yeah. So they
Okay.
have like you work out, all that, just like college. Like they have your schedule for you. Um, I think this is what I wanted to do because I wanted to take an extra year to develop more,
Yeah.
play better competition, but just like at a higher level overall. Get bigger to get bigger. For when I make my college decision, playing in college, mm, and also just to get recruited by more schools.
Okay. Um, do you have any idea of the teams that you'll be playing? I know you said the competition will get a little more stiffer, but do you have any idea of the teams that you'll be playing?
Yeah, I know
Is it
some.
in the Philadelphia, Pittsburgh area, probably?
Yeah, like
Okay.
New Jersey, Philadelphia.
Mm.
Um, that those teams are in the same league as the Hill School, so we're gonna be playing some of those teams.
So what's it be called? The Hill
The
School?
Hill School.
Oh, okay. All right. Is there a way to view the games? Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. There should be. I'm not sure if they have a website like you can just go on. I'm not sure what the streaming service is called, but I know they will have something like how they have in this area, like you can go and watch the games online.
Yeah,
But I'm just not sure
we
what it's
definitely
called.
definitely wanna support you. So I'll stay in contact with your dad, and
For
I'm
sure.
sure he'll let the people around here know how to to check out your games. Like, how is do you know how the schedule would be? Around here it used to be like Tuesdays and like Fridays and
Yeah.
whenever other day. Do you have any idea about the schedule for that school?
I'm not sure if we play on specific days like that. I know we have we play like some tournaments during like I think there's a Christmas tournament. So kind of like the same as Central. Um, I'm sure there is specific days, but I'm just not sure of it.
Mm-hmm. How has the team performed in their league before your arriving there?
Yeah.
Have any idea about that?
Last year they were really good. They won 25 games. They made it to their state championship. So they're good. But they lost in their state final. So they were the runner ups.
Wow. Okay. Not just last year.
Yeah, just last year. So they had some seniors that graduated, but they're bringing me in, another kid who's doing the same thing as me. So he's also
in this area.
he goes to Devon Prep, which is also in Philadelphia. So he's from Philadelphia. So a little bit older kid they're bringing in like me. They got some kids already that's returning from last year. And they're also bringing in a couple other kids that are a little bit younger than me, but also pretty good. So I think
So you guys gonna have some pretty high expectations,
yeah, I think we'll be
especially
pretty good
being
again.
you said the runner up.
Yeah, in the
last
state
year.
in the state
Wow.
final. Yeah.
Mm, mm. So it's still considered a high school, just uh,
Yeah, kind
uh,
of. Yeah.
higher competition.
Right.
Oh, okay. All right. I've always heard of prep schools. I just never knew how they operated. I'm glad you clarified that because a lot of people thought. Now, would that have been an option to do it another year at Central? Could you have done that?
I'm not sure if they allow that. Like, I mean, I'm not sure.
Mm,
I think you. I haven't heard of anybody else like doing that at any other schools in this area.
right.
Um, but I just haven't heard for sure like if that's a possibility.
Mm. Well, it seems like you're doing the right thing because you want to increase your skill level and all that, and open up your opportunities with school. Talking about that, your dad had sent me, a couple schools that you're interested in. Can you tell us about uh, that if you're
Yeah.
able to?
My so your sophomore year going into your junior year that summer from sophomore to junior, June 15th is the official date that college coaches can text you.
Mm-hmm.
So June 15th, I woke up and um, Quinnipiac University had texted
You're
me.
talking about June of last year.
Um, yeah, or 2 years ago. 2 years
Two
ago.
years ago, that's when they
Yeah.
can start reaching out to you.
Yeah, going into your junior year this summer.
Okay, going
your
into junior year. Okay.
So they can reach out directly because usually, like if a coach wants to talk to you, they just go through your coach or somebody like that. But June 15th, going into your junior year, they can directly text you like to your phone.
Mm-hmm.
So that day in the morning, Quinnipiac texted me throughout the day, like people just checking their phone to see if they got any texts, and I think I got about like 6 texts that day from D1s, just showing interest, saying that they've seen me play. They're gonna continue to build a relationship with me,
Mm-hmm.
and then from that point on, just playing AAU, high school, just get looked at from more schools and keep building like your resume, I guess.
Right.
So at this point, I have some 5 offers from Loyola, Maryland,
Mm-hmm.
Colgate University in New York,
Mm-hmm.
Hampton University in Virginia,
Yeah, I used to live down that way.
Pepperdine University in Malibu, California,
Mm-hmm.
and Chattanooga in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Harvard.
Harvard has been a school that texted me showing interest.
Mm-hmm.
Drexel,
Drexel.
Towson.
Mm-hmm.
I spoke to the West Virginia coach a little bit. He just moved to a different school. But yeah, I'm right now. I'm just texting schools, building relationships, and just getting to know them. I took some unofficial visits to schools, to see the campus and like see a practice, to see what it's like. Um,
What's impressed you and stuck to your heart the most so far, if you're allowed to say that?
yeah, I think the thing I look for the most, when I'm making my college decision or where I'm gonna play at is the coach. Just seeing how he is, if he's gonna take care of me, and trust me to play for him, and also what like my role on the team is gonna be.
All right.
Because going to like see some of these bigger schools like Villanova and Penn State, they're loaded with talent and like have a lot of older guys. So going in as a freshman, like you may not see as much playing time. So
Does that make a difference to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
So what's your expectation going to, if you would pick a school today, what would be your main expectation?
Yeah, the goal would be to as a freshman make an immediate impact. Just kind of like high school, like Central.
Yeah.
Coming in
same
as a
thing.
freshman, making an impact. that's my goal for college, and um, just want to make sure, kind of like what I'm doing with this Hill School, taking the extra year to develop, making sure that I'll be ready to do that.
And with your going to Hill School, you only be there 1 year.
Right.
Right.
So after that 1 year, then that's when I'll make my college decision, or maybe in the middle of the year, or whenever I'm ready.
Mm-hmm. So your main thing is, as a freshman, as you were going to Central, you want to be able to make an immediate impact.
Right, that's the goal. Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely is something that I know, and I know it's some other little things there, but I know that's probably the biggest thing.
Right.
Is making that immediate impact, which I know you're capable, of doing. Yes. Alrighty. If anyone wants to call in, you still can. 717-846-5067 is the call-in number if anyone wants to call in and ask the young man any questions. He's done a great interview. Um, Professional wise, do you watch professional basketball? Do you keep up with the
A little bit.
playoffs and
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that? Yeah. Do you have a particular team that you like?
I kind of like. I don't like any team in particular, I'd say, but I kind of watch some players,
Mm-hmm.
and like some players' games, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of take some of their moves, like watch what they do.
Mm-hmm. Is there anyone you pattern yourself after?
Um, Not necessarily pattern, but I think like some of my favorite players, like I like Jalen Brunson,
Mm-hmm.
from the Knicks,
He's tough. Mm-hmm.
Darius Garland from the
Mhm.
Cavaliers.
Mm-hmm.
Kyrie Irving was always one of my favorite players, like growing up, like since I was young.
Mm-hmm.
Just guys like that, like that's kind of like who I'd try and model my game after when I was younger, growing up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they always have this thing about the GOAT debate.
Mm-hmm.
In your opinion, you're kind of younger. Uh, is there any who do you think is the GOAT? Because it isn't just LeBron and Michael Jordan.
Right.
Yeah. Who do you think is the greatest of all time?
Yeah, I think the greatest of all time is LeBron.
LeBron.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I like Kobe Bryant a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jordan is good, but I think LeBron is probably the best player of all time.
Why do you say that? What makes him stand out?
I think longevity and
Yeah.
just also skilled. Like he's super skilled. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely is a great pick. His longevity is unmatched.
Mm-hmm.
It's a year 22, and he's still keeping up with the young guys.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
playing with his son, playing with his son.
Yeah, that's unreal. Um, Speaking about great players, um, your your dad sent me your stats, and it's pretty pretty impressive, especially the thousand points, and the county championships, state championship. Um, who who do you remember as being some great players in York County's history? Have you ever studied or looked at that? Of course, we had, your uncle played on a great team, but have you ever looked into the great players in York County's history?
Yeah, I know some just from growing up and like hearing people talking about him.
Mm-hmm.
Like Eli Brooks.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Also,
Where is he at now? Is he playing overseas?
I think